back to Sentient Synchronicities. We're live and it's 4 in the morning and we're going to talk about poor righteous teachers, 5%ers, Nation of Islam, gods and the earths. And we're also going to be talking about the Panther Party. And for a lot of people who don't know, let's start on this tip. The Panther Party used to be called the Panther Party, not the Black Panther Party, the Panther Party. The goal of the Panther Party was to incorporate all the medicine wheel within the Panther Party. So there were not just Black Panthers, but there were White Panthers, there were Pink Panthers, there were Red Panthers, there were Golden Panthers, but we don't hear that history. People don't talk about that because the government, the white supremacist government, wants a divide and conquer history. They want a virulently black supremacist history of the Black Panther Party. Because that way, it polarizes the two opposites, right? It polarizes white supremacy and black supremacy. Nobody wants to hear that there were white Panthers because then you'd be like, yo, nobody wants to hear that QEP got murdered because he was allying up white supremacists with black supremacists, right? Nobody wants to hear any of the people, Fred Hampton. Nobody wants to hear that the Panthers that were murdered by the CIA, that Malcolm X was murdered for the same reasons. People think he was not racist. Malcolm X was not hating on, first of all, the whole idea that you can't be racist towards white people. First of all, assuming someone is white is already racist. So that just throws that theory out the water. So the whole idea you can't be racist towards white people, assuming someone is white is already racist. Second of all, when some people have said sometimes, oh, I'm not racist, I'm bigoted. Bigoted is worse and it includes racism. So please don't be ignorant. Don't start saying you're not racist, you're bigoted. That makes you even worse and it makes you unrepentant, which makes it a worse sentence. So especially in these days and times with Trump in power, don't go tell a white person that you're not racist, you're bigoted, because they might prosecute you. You know what I'm saying? Please be smart, be proactive about racism. Don't be hateful towards anyone. Don't start arguing over whether or not you were hateful in one way or one word or another. We should be past those days and ages. And then they're like, but it's because you can't be racist towards a dominant majority. I'm like, newsflash, white people are not a dominant majority. They no longer are. They're not dominant anymore, and they're not majoritary anymore. I don't know which fucking world you live in. White supremacy is still a thing, but it's crumbling. And they're definitely not a majority, because there's not that many white people around. You go look around, mostly it's diasporic people. The majority is diasporic people. The majority is Afro-Asiatic and indigenous people on the face of the planet. So therefore, the whole argument of you can't be racist towards a white person because they're the majority, it falls out the window because they're a minority. So on top of that, the whole idea of being bigoted, okay, this is kind of detracting from the Panther Party, but the Panther Party was not about being black supremacist. It was about all people actually having, but then they ended up breaking up into the Bloods and Crips later on in the 60s and 70s because it actually happened that way because the Bloods were mainly Taino, Latino men and women, and they felt like they weren't getting enough exposure, they weren't getting enough recognition in the Panther Party, which became the Black Panther Party, and then it was focusing more on black Nation of Islam men. Now, the Nation of Islam has nothing to do with African sovereignty either. That's another thing people don't get. No disrespect to the gods and earths, but the Nation of Islam has to do with Muhammad. Muhammad is a child rapist. We know this. This is something that's studied in history. People don't even argue. They argue what age he raped Aisha. He raped Aisha, depending on the accounts, either at 10 or 12 years old. That is child rape regardless. So please stop arguing whether or not, well, no, he was this age or that age. That means Islam, Sunni Islam, is an evil branch. Just like Catholicism is an evil branch. So anybody trying to claim that Islam is an African tradition, it really isn't at all. It's a tradition that comes from the Middle East that was used to enslave African people. So it's not an emancipatory religion. It's not there to free people. It's a religion of war and rape and objectification of women. It's a religion not of polyamory, but of polygamy, which means many wives for men, but not many husbands for women. So it's not about equality or equity. Don't let anybody lie to you or cheat you into thinking that it's a sacred, supreme mathematic religion. It really isn't. So there is no such thing. The original Panthers were not Islamic members. Malcolm X was murdered by the Nation of Islam. You can go look that up. You can dig into the files and find information about that. You can talk to Styles P about that. You can look up and talk to some OGs in the hood, and they'll explain to you why. Because he was taking up space as a new figure of that movement that they didn't want. The elder Islamic leaders were feeling threatened by Malcolm's charisma and presence because he represented the new face of the Nation of Islam. The old creepy people never want that to happen. The old creepy men never want that to happen, just like Ayatollah Khomeini, just like the fatwas that he decreed, like say on Salman Rushdie, when they do the satanic verses. Now, 5%ers, let's get this straight, poor righteous teachers. You cannot be a 5%er if you drive around in a bulletproof car that's worth $1 million or a nice luxury sedan. Poor righteous teachers. 5% is under poverty level. So if you're not under poverty level, according to your government tax return, which means, and I'm not talking if you're hustling on the side and you're selling weed, that still counts as something, So if you're not doing everything for the community and you're not a poor righteous teacher, do not call yourself a 5%er. You're not a 5%er. I'm a 5%er. I'm under poverty level. I can say that. I've been that my whole life. I was born to be a 5%er. So I can speak on that matter. I know many true 5%ers. So I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I hope you all know now that the Panther Party is not about racism towards anyone. That the 5%ers are not an African religion. That's actually Nation of Islam was there to enslave and overtake Africa, not to free them. And so please, let's respect and honor our indigenous traditions. Let's honor our ancestral traditions. I am from the 19 tribes. I am from Maghreb. I am from the Moorish peninsula of Portugal and Spain. I am from Asia. I am from Central Asia and Southeast Asia and Northern Asia. I am from North Africa. I am from Eastern Europe, and I am Inuit, Plains Cree, and Mohawk, and I'm quite proud to be. And I'm adopted by Inuits and by Plains Cree from Enoch, Plains Cree Reserve, and I'm Iskwasi Waskihakan. So it's been a pleasure talking about this. Thank you and peace.